Hey guys, welcome to EGTV. My name's Colin Tomlin, publisher of EG Magazine UK and the author of the Grow How Experience. Now, EGTV is really about bringing EG Magazine completely alive so you get a chance not just to read the article, but to watch the article. And today we're featuring the cover story from issue 8, the February-March issue of EG Magazine, which you can find online. Just log on to egmagazineuk.com or you can visit colintomlin.com. Now, in the cover story, or in our cover feature for issue 8, we featured Mark Zuckerberg. Now, Mark's easily one of the most fascinating entrepreneurs around. Now, here was a guy who 12 years ago was simply a geek locked in a dorm room at Harvard. Since then, he's become a celebrated entrepreneur, famously known for founding or being one of the founders, but certainly taking Facebook to the next level. So much so that right now, Facebook connects over 1 billion people every day on planet Earth. How did he do it? How did they do it? What are some of the things we can learn from them? So to start, let me take you back to 2004. In fact, 2003. In 2003, Mark and a couple of his buddies had this idea that Harvard was a little bit stale, was a little bit stiff, and they wanted to inject some fun into it. And they came up with this thing called FaceMash. And FaceMash was literally where they hacked into Harvard's online files, or their servers rather, and got pictures of everyone across the campus. And they then published those pictures, giving people the opportunity, online of course, to rate these people as hot or not. That's it. Now, as you can imagine, the Harvard authorities found out about this, and they weren't terribly happy. And at one point, I believe Mark and his buddies actually faced expulsion. They put that episode behind them, and then a year after, Mark and a couple of his buddies, and this is where it gets a little bit dicey, and I'm sure if you watch the film, I think it's called Social Media, or the Facebook, I'm not sure what the film is, but it chronicles what may have happened, and since then lots of lawsuits have come out of it, etc. But in 2004, the first iteration of Facebook came about, and a year later, they had connected 1 million people, mainly across the States. 8 years later, they had 1 billion registered or active users on the Facebook platform. That same year, they had the Facebook public offering, and at the end of that, Facebook as a company was valued at $104 billion, billion with a B. So not just in financial terms, but certainly in terms of impact and engagement with the world at large, they have done very, very well. Now, today we want to present to you two things. Number one, we want to present the 7 what we call Facebook success factors. What are the 7 things that have made this phenomenon possible? What are the 7 things that have made Facebook the phenomenal success that it is, and that's catapulted Mark Zuckerberg as a leader of leaders? What are the 7 things that he and his team have done that have taken them here? And more importantly, how can you apply them to your business, to your enterprise, to your organization? So that's the first thing we're going to cover. And then the second thing we're going to cover is Mark's top 3 mentors. One of the things about success is success leaves a track. And one of the best ways to follow that track is to get mentors who've gone that way, gone the way you are aiming to go before, so you can learn from them. And I want to focus on the top 3 mentors that Mark personally have used. So let's go back and jump back to the top 7 Facebook success factors. Now, the first one, and this is all covered in the magazine. If you haven't seen it, make sure you log on and download it or read it online. The first thing is, they started off by being brave. You know, Mark and his team had this grand vision. And their grand vision, in fact, I'll read it to you. Their grand vision was to make the world more open and connected. And yeah, it was, laudable. It was huge. Some would even argue that it's over the top. But, that's exactly what they've done. They've made the world a more connected place. And it started with a big vision when they were very small. And it was that big vision that made them, or helped to make them, as big as they are today. What is your big vision for your business, for your enterprise, or for your organization? Be brave. The second thing is, they were clear. They had a very clear plan as to how they were going to connect the world. They were going to use the medium of technology, because at that time, technology, as a phenomenon, or technology as a means of enhancing business and enhancing the world as a whole, was just starting to come to the fore. And they saw an opportunity where they could use technology as a platform for connecting the world. And that's exactly what they did. They've connected over 1 billion people. They've got over 1 billion active users every single day on the Facebook platform. In fact, I'm sure you've logged on this morning, checked your status, sent some inboxes, watched a couple of videos, watched some articles, followed some links to a couple of websites. They have certainly connected the world. So don't just be brave, but be clear as to how you're going to do what you do. So in your business, do you have clarity in terms of what you're trying to do? Do you have clarity in terms of how you're going to make that big vision possible? What are you going to use? What is the strategy? What is the platform? So that's the second thing. The third thing is be quick. One of the things that they did at Facebook is they didn't hang around for endless iterations, and they didn't wait until things were just right before they launched it. They prototyped. So they would get to one stage, release something, and then keep working at it, release the next iteration, and it would keep going on like that. In fact, when he wrote his manifesto for the initial public offering, here's 2 phrases that he came up with, which are now, known as famous sayings for Mark. The first one was, "Done is better than perfect." I know certainly for me, sometimes I want things to be perfect before it goes out. But the truth is, done is better than perfect. And sometimes we can spend an inordinate amount of time just to get something 2 or 3 or 5% better. Maybe it's better just getting out there with the 85%, with the 90%. That just makes so much sense to me. Done is better than perfect. And then the second thing is move fast and break things. And I quite like this one, because the thinking is, if you're not breaking things, if you're not getting things wrong, if you're not going over the edge, you're not going fast enough and you're not going far enough. So in your own business, apply these 2 things. Apply these 2 thought processes. Done is better than perfect. And if you're not moving fast, or rather move fast and break things, push the boundaries, go to the edge and see how far you can go. Yeah. So what have we done so far? Be brave, make sure you're following your passion. Be clear, make sure you have a plan, and be quick, prototype stuff. So get it out there even before it's ready. And then the fourth thing is this: be in touch with people. One of the things I like about Facebook and the thinking behind the Facebook team is that Facebook is not really about technology or even tantalizing profits. It's ultimately, first and foremost, about people, connecting people. So this is where they use the technology to help with the process, not use people because they have a particular process, not try to get people to use their process, but they build the process around people. And so people are very, very connected. People find Facebook easy to use. And you go on Facebook, you find it very easy to post stuff because the user experience is all that's important, i.e. making sure that it's built for people and easy for people to use. So that's the fourth thing. The fifth thing is be growing. One of the things that Facebook is looking at right now is the whole idea of virtual reality. And they really are pushing the boundaries there because they want to explore and make use of all the possibilities. What if? What can? Why not? Those are some of the questions they ask. And in your own business, don't just settle for what you did yesterday or last year that worked. Push the boundaries. Try and do something different. Try and engage people in a new way. Try and deliver your services in a unique or innovative way. Be thinking always about possibilities. Be growing and be pushing the boundaries. The sixth thing is about being a team. One of the famous sayings I remember my dad saying when I was growing up is, no man is an island, no man stands alone. And, that's why anything, in fact, there's a saying, I think it's an African saying, I could be wrong, that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so teamwork, as John Maxwell puts it, is really what makes the dream work. Because if you're doing something on your own, it could be infinitely better with a team of people who are contributing ideas, contributing resources, contributing energies, contributing their skills, their talents and abilities. So make sure you have a team. And then the last thing, and Mark really does practice this, we heard a lot about this when his daughter was born, is be generous. And this is the whole idea of philanthropy. Mark's famously given away the majority of his wealth. And there is still a little bit of hoo-ha in terms of what that really means and how much, and him maybe manipulating the whole thing. But the bottom line is he intends to donate a huge portion of his wealth or his capital gains from Facebook to charity. Whenever you're building your business, don't just think about profits. Don't just think about yourself. Don't just think about your family. Don't just think about your immediate future. Think about how you can make the world a better place by giving not just your skills, but the resources that you generate and the wealth that you create away to causes and charity. One of the things that really, really helped me is that every Sunday I go to church. And obviously, they don't pay me to go to church. I go to church. I get to go to church to contribute to people around me, to the city, to the country as a whole. And there's something in our nature about giving which makes us better people, which stretches us, which makes us happier, which makes us more joyful, which makes us more grateful for life. So this is a really important one for not just Mark, but certainly for me. Be generous. Whatever you're doing, come with a mindset of giving. In fact, just think that you get to give. Whatever you get, whatever you create, it's really you get it to give. So those are the 7 Facebook success factors as we see them. Be brave. It's really about following your passion. Yeah. Be clear. It's about having a very clear plan, a really clear idea of where you're going and how you're going to do it. Be quick. Get to market very quickly by prototyping. Don't wait to get things perfect. Remember, better is done is better than perfect. The fourth thing is be in touch. Remember, whatever you do, it's not about products, it's really about people. And products enhances people's lives. So it's always about people. Number 5, be growing. Make sure you are exploring all the possibilities. What if? What can? Why not? Those are some of the questions you need to be asking. Be a team. Make sure that there are a bunch of people around you, call them partners if you may, who are helping to make this happen. Because you can only go so far on your own. You may go fast, but you certainly won't go far, or as far as you could go with a team. And then the last thing is be generous. Build philanthropy, build giving, and build generosity into the fabric of your business. It makes all the difference. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. This is all part of members.colintomlin.com, which is our membership site. If you want to get more like this, then jump online, members.colintomlin.com, sign up for one of our plans, and we would be more than happy to release this stuff to you. Now, the last thing I want to do is talk about Mark's mentors. Mark has 3 mentors which have been instrumental in transforming him from this Harvard dropout techno geek or technical geek to a celebrated elder statesman of global entrepreneurship. And there are 3 people who I believe he credits that to. In fact, he says this publicly. The first is a guy called Sean Parker. You may remember Sean Parker from Napster. He's the one who created this whole Napster thing. And he's the co-founder of Napster, of course, and of course, he's also a tech entrepreneur. He came across Facebook when he saw it on screen. I think at the time, he was at Stanford University, either visiting or studying, not sure, and he came across the Facebook. He contacted Mark and was instrumental in making Facebook, in helping Facebook go through those early years in terms of investment, in terms of organizational structure, in terms of focus. In fact, he was one of the first presidents of Facebook. And both himself and Mark have a great working relationship, and he's still, as far as I'm aware, involved in Facebook. So the first mentor Mark had was Sean Parker. The second mentor he had was a guy called Don Graham, who is the former CEO of the Washington Post. And you know, his daughter went to Harvard at the time where Mark was there, and his daughter, of course, would have known about what was called the Facebook at the time. And she casually mentioned it to his dad. They met, and over time, Don was able to help Mark in terms of some of the idiosyncrasies of big business. And I'm sure Mark would have helped Don in terms of this whole social media thing and what it could mean to the Washington Post. So Sean Parker and Don Graham, and of course, last but by no means least, it was Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was, as I'm sure you know, a phenomenal tech entrepreneur, and he helped to cut a path for all of the tech entrepreneurs. Of course, Mark Zuckerberg. In fact, when Steve died, one of the things Mark said, and I quote, is, "Steve, thank you for being a mentor and a friend. Thanks for showing that what you build can change the world. I will miss you." One of the specific things that Steve helped Mark to do was about building a great management team and pushing the boundaries, not accepting mediocre as a standard. And you know, those lessons that Steve taught Mark are being used in Facebook today, because they certainly are pushing the boundaries. You know, the whole Facebook ads engine is just a phenomenal thing. In fact, if you want to advertise online these days, you cannot not go on Facebook adverts. So they're just pushing the boundaries out there, and they're connecting so many people every single day, which makes it brilliant. So who are your mentors? Who are the guys that help you? Who are the people who help you to push the boundaries, to move forward, to explore possibilities? Who are the people who have gone the way you've gone before and who will help you to chart your course? You desperately need mentors. I desperately need mentors, because without mentors, we can only go so far. Thank you guys. Love to know what you think. Feel free to comment. Feel free to let us know how you're finding the magazine. And let us know some of the topics you want to cover, because, hey, we're here to serve you. Take care. God bless. Thank you.